think that Nuke should be going their way, but of course we're going the way of Dust2, a map which I have no idea about, and if you tell me you do, I'm gonna say you're lying.
Well, I'm not gonna be called a liar. I won't have you calling me out in that particular manner. Faze, start on the T side. G2, CT, Amanek with all the utility, and they start off with a fight towards long. Jax fancying a few peeks at it, but G2 ultimately give it up.
Well, they've got long control and backed off soon afterwards. At least one of their players has. Faze has a lot of room to work around with, but if they start to fight towards short, boy, oh boy, G2 Esports have got 4 players who can all feasibly contest. So Faze have made the right decision in going across, and with their 2 smokes, of course, they were pretty much always going to be going for something on those lines as well. So smokes go out, and they will start to proceed forward. Kenny S on the crossing angle can't really do much, so Jax will be left to do everything over here as he can't find the kills. It's a bit late, but he will break one down. Brokey has responded, and with this, they're onto the bomb side, and bomb will respond. Kenny from behind. Gandalf is peeking out, but can't be done, as Brokey will take him down. Left down to 3. Hunter's been tagged as well. Increasingly unlikely, but Nexa and Hunter are finding a kill apiece, bringing it back in their favor. They don't have a kit, but they will start to fight upwards. Rain, with that P250, has been left behind. He needs to find these kills, and with the shadow in his favor, he will do just that. Finds one and the second as well, even if it is a little bit sloppy.
Yeah, I got a little bit dicey there. Hunter was low HP as well, so he didn't even need the headshot, but finds it anyway. A crucial round for Faze to win. Something that we, I think, noted when we had watched Faze on Dust2 previously is that they quite often got themselves onto sites, but would lose in the post plants. Not the case today. Not the case on the pistol, at the very least.
Well, 5 players heading down long is going to be a good little story for G2, but it's not one with a happy ending. Brokey getting in some action onto his own teammate as well, and he will have Amanek find one more kill because of it. Amanek now left in the 1v2 could find this important one because that's the bomb down as well. Kirby now left in the 1-on-1, and with the AK picked up, Amanek can even be said to be favored. The only problem is he doesn't know where Kirby's coming from.
Yeah, and Kirby has the information, the reload from Amanek, the sound cue given up. Also thrown his direction, has to make sure that doesn't spread too far. Amanek, given the head, Kirby with a nade out. Only need a little bit of damage, but they're equal. 23 apiece, and Amanek pulls it off. He out-timings Kirby, he outguns him in the end, and playing that headshot angle, exactly what he needed to do in the clutch.
And just some parting errors means that Brokey ends up killing his own teammate. The grenade is just coming through, and Amanek has this brilliant flashbang as well. G2 Esports pull off what's very uncommon these days, which is they get a successful stack on their half-buy round. Listen, I'm always for that, but it doesn't work out all that often anymore. Teams have become much smarter about defaulting. Teams have become much smarter about going for information, but sometimes on a map like Dust2, the T side just wants to take control of long, and they don't succeed.
Well, we're off to a very brawly start. Not much is sure. And on the A site, now over towards long, but it's middle where Faze will look for information, and a gap that has certainly been found and spotted. Kirby in the tunnels. If he went down, it would just be a one-pronged assault, so he's still applying pressure. Hunter, the Molotov, will at least slow them down, but they're running straight through, and Amanek's the first to draw blood. Brokey, though, he trades him back straight away. Hunter's gone. Amanek trying to stay alive at the back of the site, and they can't track him down as of yet. Amanek, how is he still alive in this position? Faze can't get the bomb down because he's here, and now Nexa on the rotation is there on time. Brokey gets nothing accomplished. They get to the site, but they don't deal with the site players.
Oh, look, I know exactly what Amanek is thinking in his head at that particular time. It's, staying alive. Because that's exactly what he needs to do in that spot. Tucks away, uses the smoke perfectly, uses the corner perfectly, and when Faze is trying to jiggle him into peeking out wide, he doesn't fall for that bait. Brilliantly done, and yes, he loses out quite a few players, but now it's time to see the money coming in! After catching it in! Cha-chink, cha-chink, cha-chink! 4 kills already, and the 5th right around the corner, quite literally. Brokey has been chased down, and Amanek will put him down, as a Nova will come through as the ultimate ROI.
The big game hunter down towards lower. I was not expecting him to get as many as he did with the Nova. I understand they're unarmored, it's just pistols, sure, but still getting so much success out of a shotgun.
Is that a gold chain I see around Hunter's neck? Because he's got enough money for it for sure at this point.
Dressed up to the nines.
Indeed. Even pulls out the MP5, which is really the lap of luxury if you can afford to bring out a terrible weapon. Kenny's though, he's got a beautiful weapon and a beautiful little angle. One that could be christened his name with how thin it is. 1:20, and he's hoping someone will jiggle across and give him the chance to maybe flick back into him. And flashbangs there. Rain moves through. Armanek will now start to try and back up his liege as Kenny. The king will be smoked off. 4 players still over towards the A bomb side, which still seems to be where FaZe Clan is angled, although the mid to B smoke will maybe be proving me wrong.
Just saw there, Nico's 100 ADR, 3 assists, 1 kill. He's been getting in the damage, even if he's not been finding the frags. G2, that hole that is ever so massive. He's Armanek in a rough spot. He gets spotted out, but he actually gets 1 frag. Surprisingly so, as G2 come ahead out in the trade game. Now just coldzera and Nico to try and lock them out of B.
It's a dynamic duo. And they are looking to anticipate some movements. coldzera, good little angle for himself as he's crept past towards the smoke, which will dissipate soon, but he can't get the kill. Nico left versus 4, and he's certainly up for the task, but the task might be coming around, but he can't be brought down. Nico. Nade will come over, and he's still got another, but Kenny trades away. Is there time? And it seems like there is. Nico brings it very close, but Kenny will still keep it under control. However, a nice little bullet to the head just to make sure that Nico is indeed dead, that the dead body won't just turn around and bring him down, because that was a man with the foot in his grave, and he pulled down a few with him.
Oh my goodness. After he gets that second kill, I could definitely see him win it. The third is just as flashy. I thought the nade might have provided enough coverage for them to get out of the tunnels. And Nico was just so sharp. That's a very costly round at that for G2. With only Kenny surviving, the money for the CT side cannot really get going. So more damage looking to be accomplished in this round. Just the upgraded pistol, some armor that surrounds it. And they've got enough utility as well to potentially execute a site. The problem is that they've not committed towards long early on into the round. So if they wanted to investigate that particular avenue, it would cost them a few flashbangs. They're running thin on them.
Seems to be the good old-fashioned let's run up short and try to get the bomb plant strategy. I do quite like that one. I relate to it, even. It's almost as good as a send 1 player to rush B and 4 people A strategy. But it seems like FaZe have a little bit more depth than I do in my matchmaking games. Next, though, waiting for them to maybe come over his way. FaZe has prioritized mid control pretty heavily so far. I know the Molotov and coldzera's position reveal that grenade's going to be doing a pretty large amount of damage. With that, the Nexa just comes in, cleans up 2 kills. Armanek is traded away by Kirby's Eagle, and Nexa's still fighting. Next set of 4. Suddenly, it's all doable.
Rifles can be recovered. Now they get the plant in as well. The B bomb site, notoriously tough nut to crack. And Rain fancies a go at a couple peaks. Does threaten that window jump up. It's actually looking for another. They have no utility. It has to be dry faces and catching them on the timings. Brokey, Molotov out of position, and Rain still holds the high ground. Up close and personal. Kjaerbye, the first to find Kenny in the back, and Brokey's found a frag as well. Just Jax, a 1-on-2 from the window. He knows that they're below him, and he doesn't fancy his chances. Begins his retreat, but he's caught out. Brokey tracks him down, and it's that bursting play towards B that finds FaZe a second.
If there's any team to do it, it's got to be FaZe Clan. If you start to think that, hey, Eagle victory on Dust2, hell yes.
I will
Beautiful
say,
few shots coming in.
It's it's a little bit concerning that G2 are offering up so many isolated duels to Faze. I mean, we even had Nexa. Sure, he got 2 kills in middle, but that's your closest rotating B defender outside of the solitary anchor that could have gone down as well. So G2 are taking these far more individual fights than I would have expected against the likes of Faze, considering they individually they've actually had a pretty good tournament, and even fighting down here in the depths, they are still going to put up a strong fight. You don't want to be giving so many isolated fights away, especially on Dust2.
Look, we also have to remember, at the end of the day, G2 Esports is also a team which, realistically, they have very heavily rely on Nexa being a rotating in-game leader. Nexa, more often than not, will be playing their float player in a lot of these positions. And Amanek being alone on the B-bomb side is scary, but I feel like Nexa is putting a lot of the responsibility onto himself in that position, where if he goes down, he's expecting, yeah, my teammates will be able to rotate because I know exactly where they are, and that's how I'll position myself accordingly. The problem that really comes in over there is I don't know if there's some miscommunication or what really entirely transpired, but Nexa's not able to go over to give Amanek the security he needed, where Amanek and Nexa are then isolated by the Eagles. So you're absolutely right. There are situations where you can afford to be isolated. That didn't really seem to entirely be one of them.
Well, seems like we're just ironing out some early technical issues.
No. We're playing T-side versus T-side, all right, guys? This is a new version of Counter-Strike.
Sometimes Dust2 can feel like a 2 T-side.
It kind of does, doesn't it? It's just like, yeah, I'm gonna push into them on short. You're gonna flash me in. I'll catch off the players who are trying to play off of each other, and then after that, maybe if they throw some responsive utility, you can maybe throw a secondary flash, catch them out, maybe even smoke off an angle so they can't see us while we're crossing. And you don't know what side I'm talking about, and that's viable strategies for either team. You don't know.
Yeah, executing the B bomb site.
Yeah.
They come out from either side, really.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, then you start thinking of, okay, we've got to fight for long control. Make sure your flashes are on point. Make sure they pop over and not to the side. Remember, the last time you popped to the side, it ended up blinding your teammate. That's what the angle he wants to go in from. And also make sure you've got your Molotov ready and your smoke to catch off that, general angle that they go for. Again, guys, you can't really differentiate. Could be anything, could be anyone, and that's exactly what we have right now. So one other interesting thing that I'm actually very much looking forward to is I want to see how FaZe Clan actually try to punish G2 Esports' economy as it is currently, in the sense that I don't know if maybe we'll later on see them going for a slightly faster paced plays in this particular round, where G2's money is good enough where Kenny can still buy an op because he saved in the few rounds prior, but the rest of his team are slightly lower. So, maybe there's some drop weapons, but utility is likely to be a little bit drier. And I want to see FaZe being able to pull through with something like that.
Yeah, if there's anything that G2 have in their camp that I think FaZe may lack now moving into this is, especially in the games that we've seen so far in DreamHack Open Fall, they are very willing to get aggressive into the mid-late round. So around the 40, sort of 35-second mark, just to clear out one of these sites. It's something that's a bit more difficult to accomplish on Dust2. So there's an element to this that I really do like the map selection for FaZe coming into this, because I think if G2 are going to play that type of game, it's not going to work as well as, say, a Dust2 or a Nuke, where getting aggressive in the late round can often just secure you round wins on CT sides.
Well, first, if you guys are wondering what's going wrong right now, currently we have G2 experiencing some internet issues, or at least that's what they tell us. Really, we all know they're just trying to wind out Nico's contract negotiations at the back while this game goes on. After that 3K Nico got it, he's just called up Nexa right now. He said, Nexa, go to Ocelot, tell him I want an extra $50,000 a year. Make it happen.
You see that 3v5 or the 3v4 we won on Eco or half buy? Yeah.
And that's what I bring to the team. I want a bonus every time I get a deagle kill. Yeah.
Oh, that would be a hell of an incentive.
That would be really cool, actually. It would also be
you'd only be able to cash
day.
in on you'd only be able to cash in on the bonus if you actually won the game, though.
Yeah, okay. See, that's where you're smarter than me because I was just thinking, yeah, what if my player just buys the deagle every round and loses the game for
Yeah,
me?
that's a.
I didn't even think you could include that in the contract.
I'll be honest, it
All
sounds like a
right.
terrible business decision.
Hey, don't you go insulting my acumen. We've got to sort this off on the stream, okay, Michael? I don't know what's wrong with you. Your attitude is really getting to me. We're going to go to a short break while I sort this guy out. We'll be back in a bit with more Counter-Strike action. Okay, Mr. MTG, sir. All right. Okay, Mr. Twitch. Okay, so we will fake a technical timeout to play more ads. Oh, sorry, guys. We're back with the stream. G2 versus Faze Clan going on already. Woo, what am I talking about? G2 pulling out all the deagles. Michael, they're Counter-Strike, not ads.
You're far too silly. 4-2. G2 back on pistols as Faze stole a round away just before we had to iron out the internet cables. They did get a little tangled up in all the hubbub. And Faze looking postured up for a third. They are again exploiting middle, which has a fair amount of emphasis for them, but it has been severely lacking for G2 so far on Dust2. Look at all the utility they're throwing down. They want to crunch towards B rapidly. Again, it's Gerby, the only one that's on the other side of the tunnels. But Armanek, good headshot to start. But Broky's holding the flank. As soon as Nexa emerges through the smoke, immediately decapitated, and that B bomb site is theirs.
Well, although Armanek does get at least a nice little kick into Rain's teeth, but unfortunately for him, as it turns out, Rain's got many older brothers, and they are all coming down to beat up Armanek's family. Kenny will go down as well, and with that, G2 Esports will have forfeited their half-buy round. No surprises there, but I do appreciate the fact that they don't heavily invest and use Kenny's economy to do so. So just nice to see around that. I do think it's very important on the CT side to manage your economy for as many gun rounds as you can possibly get when you have Kenny on your team. And Jax picking up the M4A1 will certainly be a nice little boon to have, even if Kirby is perhaps thinking about hunting for it.
I didn't reference this when we got into the round, but you had your question answered because Kenny had all of that money. Whether they would buy up around it, but not to be. Back into another buy round. I don't think this tank issue will last too long. Yeah, obviously, I'm cheating a little bit. The producers said in my ear how quick it'll be. So
that it's always the casters. Okay, if we get blamed for not starting the stream, then we get credit for saying the tech pause is short. Okay, Michael.
It's like, why were they talking for so long during the break? I mean, there are reasons for these things.
He lies. There really aren't. We're just egotistical, and we like to have people listen to us more. And we know we're not really talented enough to be acknowledged when there's fantastic players on the server, so we get tech pauses like this for that reason.
Well, I mean, if I was in the server with them, I would definitely not be acknowledged. So
that is true. That is true. That's why
get rid of this fly. I don't know why he's on the server.
Well, listen, I know why a lot of these players are on their servers, because we have for ourselves an off versus op duel coming up, which should be exciting to say the least. Faze Clan with lots of upgraded pistols as well, save from rounds gone by. We'll have to see what they can get done now that Brokey has the AWP.
Ooh, the smoke does allow Kenny out, but Nico, that's a swift execution. Easy frag for him, as Kenny had no idea that Nico would be there so quickly.
Flashes going out as well. Nexa doesn't really have any flashes on his own self, but the nade and the Molotov will make a pretty big difference. I'm sure he's going to be chucking them out soon, but the flashbang means he can't line it up, and the players have already gone by. Needs to start firing out soon. Rain will take him down, and the trades are favoring the terrorist side. Now down to a 4 versus 2. G2 Esports likely to save, especially if they can find the AWP, but Jax is still fighting, and dueling is found one. Are they going for this?
Oh, Rain's on 3 HP. It's dangerously close. Jax wants this. He really wants to punish them, try and find any slither of hope. Rain's gone, but he has his teammate repositioning to try and rendezvous, but ultimately he'll rendezvous in the grave instead. An equalizing round there for Faze. They exploit middle once again. This time G2 tried to put more emphasis that direction, but it was Kenny that had absolutely no idea of Nico's position. That up investment gone to the wind at the very start of that round that just made things all the harder for G2.
And where they had a fantastic start early on, it seems like that will be slowed down significantly. Faze Clan will now start to, maybe be challenged a bit too much. Brokey almost losing his head, as Jax will do just that. But Faceland still will continue to decapitate a few players left, right, and center. No real issues over here as Kenny peeks out, but is unable to find the kill. He keeps on firing away and will find one, and the second turns back and brings him down. No, Nico, that wasn't a 1D. If it was a 1-tap, that's not an extra $500.
Yeah, only 300 in the server. Nico, double spray, lines him up nicely. And I was going to take your thoughts on the UMP buy for Hunter. I wasn't really a big fan. I don't think you accomplish anything more than a deagle and armor, so the extra investment that you throw into a UMP. I'm not a big fan.
So the reason why I like it is because it's exactly as effective as a deagle and armor for me, and the more important point is that I just think it's actually a little bit more consistent on different angles. So there's actually a lot more angles you can play where, you know, maybe some range will come into it as well. But range is exactly what Kenny has, as he's flung himself into the open, been taking some fire, and will be fired down. So with that, G2 Esports, they are very, very, very scared of what's about to come for them. Straight to Vanguard smokes being set up for now. Nades will come through without really doing any damage whatsoever. Faceland, the setup are untouched and unbothered.
Oh, execute over towards A. The flash is perfect. Rain able to get one, but not able to get the second. Almanac almost sprays two down as they emerge through middle. It was B. That was the main focus. It was just a distraction to take eyes away from that site, and Nico cuts off the rotation of Nexa. Even finishes it off. That is sharp from Nico. I have to say, I have to call into question what Kenny is hoping to accomplish here in middle. That's 2 times it feels like he's attempting to force a duel that doesn't have any real supportive elements for G2. The AWP's a very expensive weapon to be investing into. Sure, he gets the B-hop onto short, but he gets there so late that they can not only hear his movements, but hear him scope in as well. So Nico was really prepared for that duel.
Perhaps a moment of desperation coming out early on from G2 Esports. Yeah. Others might say that maybe just trying to let Kenny loose and have a bit more action. It's always a fine line between letting your AWP doing whatever he wants and letting him go crazy or letting him be crazy. So G2 Esports still towing across that fine line. Do have a few players over on shot. Flashbang is good. It's on point. It'll let Rain clean up a few eco kills if he can actually land his shots. Unfortunately, it's a bit harder than that as Nico will start to go in towards the mid. Forced back by the nade as they will be peeking out into him. The CTs are ready to push through. Hunter contesting but will fall.
Three on three. Weakened sight seems to be the target. Kenny does have the angle on Goose, and if he goes uncleared, this could cascade out of control. Nico's had the hot hand for Faze. He does clear it, but it's haphazardly. There he goes. Down. Bomb dropped at Kenny's feet, and Jax is there as well on the rotation.
Jax on the AKs coming around the corner. Kenny to fall, and with this, the bomb will be planted 30 seconds, and Almanac's position is really all that matters. The bomb's been stopped for just a second. Call is trying to find one, and that is Almanac right behind him. Somehow detects it coming, even though Jax was the one he first had himself trained on. Jax, in the meanwhile, has crept all the way past that initial point of contest. Creeps upwards. Brokey's expecting him, and although damage is good, it's not enough. Brokey will not fall on Faceland. Run away with another round. 7-4 up now. And let's not forget, G2 were up 4-1 at a point.
Yeah, Faze have really turned this T side into something else. And it's been exploiting this middle control, something that is so vehemently fought for T sides. And Faze have not only been doing that, but they've been finding kills while accomplishing that goal.
Yep.
Not often finding themselves at significant man disadvantages, even, or it's G2 losing a man.
Now, the timeout is perfectly placed for G2 right now because they need to figure out another way to defend this. Faze, who have been either... So far, Faze have either pressured for long, which hasn't really worked out for them entirely, or they've pressured for mid, where G2 Esports more often than not rolls over and lets them have it. And that's not really entirely acceptable with the way things are going. So you've got to see maybe a little bit more proactive. There's maybe a few more players playing around mid. Maybe even abandon B entirely and have Amanek play that door gap instead. It's a much riskier place to go for, but it's a nice little variation at the very least. But right now, the variation from Faze Clan is an initial contest from long, while there are 2 players stacked inside mid. So Kenny, that stack on the other side will end up poorly for them. Brokey somehow gets away as well. A nade at his feet and an AWP in Nexa means that although he's damaged, he is not dead yet. Kenny now on short, trying to defend, trying to give them a chance. And he will do just that. Beautiful shot comes in as he refaces out, but can't get the flick in time. Their bomb is still far away, and Amanek might be able to catch it on the cross. There is no smoke to prevent that, but Amanek is more concerned with mid and reinforcing Kenny, where Kirby around the corner goes unchecked. And Kenny's left alone. He's got to go for the ace clutch if he wants this, but instead, with the Molotov at his feet, he knows he doesn't have the HP for it, will end up backing off. What a round from Kenny, but Faze still to walk away with it.
Yeah, Nico got such early long control, and although Kenny had spotted out that boost initially, he still crept forward, found a 1 bullet towards CT, and they were still fighting so desperately for Cat. Sure, they don't flush out Kenny, but there was a firm enough pathway that Faze could take to get that bomb down. The first round, we really see the AWP of the CTs actually having too much impact, but it's all for naught. No round behind it.
Well, gotta really give up a lot of love for Brokey as well in that position.
I can't believe he got the first and got away.
I'm less surprised about that. It's more just the second that he did to re-peek that also. It's just so perfectly timed. I don't know if he was going to peek it regardless, but because the grenade's at his feet, peeks out and it's just beautifully done. Now, Kenny is again going to be put to the test, but this time, turns out he doesn't really know all the answers as Rain finds Hunter. Kenny on the hero up. Well, Rain has brought him right back down. And Michael, this is not going well at all for the side of G2. Rain is just tearing apart this force buy with Nexa to fall as well. The AWP not to find a single kill. Amanek, in fact, the only one to ring some bells, and he is going to be finding someone at the door. It's Brokey on the other side, and Amanek suddenly turns around for the flick of a lifetime. Left in a 1v3, will try to save this AK, and seems like that success should at least be found, though as I say that, Faze Clan are turning around and looking to contest. Amanek is going to pull out the gun and almost the duel. Kirby barely getting that.
God, what has this map turned into? It does look like just straight up deathmatch at times. We're seeing some really sharp aim coming out from Faze, but I mean, what is that from Amanek? We have it in slow motion, it's still fast.
Yeah, if you showed that to someone and told them, yeah, that's normal speed, they'd probably believe you. Kenny. This is the man who used to be the definition of abnormal speed on flicks once upon a time, but right now, it seems like that fairy tale is indeed just that. He's had a few great rounds, but seems like they haven't really translated in for wins, and now as Faze can start to walk up the plank of Catwalk, they've got 3 players hot on their heels, and I say hot because there's a Molotov between them.
Oh, they are nading Kirby out, but he still manages a frag. Has a teammate backing it up on short as well. They don't have to fight for this. They have full reign over every position at A, and it's a save from G2. I thought they were playing for the retake, but they lose cat control, they lose that initial fight, and they back off.
Second last round in the half as well, so you've got to start wondering, guys, you need more. And with Amanek falling over there, if you don't save these 3 players, suddenly that save as well is going to be absolutely useless. And Faze can, look, Faze can afford to throw a bit of a tantrum, throw bricks at a wall and hope they get the kill. And indeed they do. Jax will be the next one to fall. And G2 Esports is just falling apart. That's it. That's gone. That is a retake you didn't go for to try and save 4 players and walk out with a single one alive.
Oh, what in the world? I just have to say, I think G2 have a really bad read on what FaZe are doing in these rounds. We've seen them take so many risks in middle when that's where FaZe have been 90% of the time. They're scoping, running, all sound cues that make the fights all the easier for FaZe. And now they chalk together a bye in the last round of the half. This has been a T-side victory and a deathmatch session for a lot of FaZe clan. I like this, though. G2 get aggressive towards B.
Yes.
They've cleared things out so they can stack A safely.
And with full B control, they can start to move in as well. Hunter's taking the first contest, and Kirby has fallen, but so has next hand Kenny, leaving just a single man, and that single man will try to defend. Jax is climbing up the beanstalk, but he's still got some giants to take down. Cold Zera will fall, and he makes it doable. Hunter and Amanek, 2 versus 1 now, as Amanek will go down next. Hunter alone against the world, Brokey and Rain. Brokey scoped in onto his angle, scoped onto the position. Hunter peeks out, but Brokey is ready and takes him away. 11-4, FaZe clan unfellable. And we are very excited for the second half to see if G2 can bring it back. We'll be back after a short break. Don't go anywhere. G2 Esports have not exactly had a fun first half. They're hoping to start off the second one a little bit better. I've got with me on the microphone Michael Yumi Cassidy to help us take this away. Faze Clan up 11-4, start things off with 2 sets of utility and a kid on Nico, interestingly enough, while Kirby is taking point on A short.
Some early aggression does get spotted out. Of course, the boost from G2 there for that exact reason. Nico down to low HP early. He's got the utility, the kit as well, like you mentioned. So him going down would have maybe caused a couple of issues. Nico lining up a flash as the smoke B does mean that G2 have an intended target. Brokey on the site does have a teammate backing him up, but it's isolated duels. Oh, they're dicey. Rain and Brokey both find one, but nothing further.
Nico in the back line's open and put that kit to good use as the bomb is down. Rain leading the charge, but the charge has come to a halt as they can't find the angles. Rain does, however, swing right by and into the skull. Armanek and Jax will both fall. And with that, Faze Clan find themselves a 12th round. Well, that happened. Guys, Rain's good again.
I mean, Rain is sick, but Armanek has Jax, you're supposed to be covering my door. Why am I getting shot in the back of the head? That felt like communication breakdown, and that has been kind of a recurring theme throughout this map. It feels like G2 haven't really been piecing the puzzle together as to how FaZe have been approaching this map. It's transferring over slightly to their T side now as well, and FaZe are filled with confidence. I wouldn't even put it past Kirby to just get aggressive through that smoke, fast flank them as they start making their way up through the catwalk. But no, not going to be going as brazen as that. G2 have gotten a stable pathway that they can work off of, a lot of room to work off of as well, because the site is clear. It's all just long control for FaZe.
Nico's down at the ready. He's very good with it, and he's found himself a beauty. Nico's looking for a bit of a beast, though, and can he go for more? As the CTs are starting to reconvene around this facility. But can they actually make use of what it has to offer? Rain waiting for Nexa to reveal himself. Nexa's playing this very smart, but Rain's already crept upwards and outwards. Aggression is his name, and he's found it. Kenny will fall. Nexa in the open is being brought down. 30 HP on him, and Kirby to finish him off. The retake is preeminent, and Hunter's death is only going to guarantee it. FaZe Clan will come out on top yet again. It is 13-4, and just as a reminder to the people who are watching at home, G2 Esports, in case you weren't tuned into the very beginning of this game, the way they've gotten 4 rounds is actually also very heavily in part due to Brokey. And if you're wondering, wait, what do you mean? Brokey's been playing fantastic. He has, but he also killed Nico in a particular round where it came down to a 1v1. And that put a lot of chaos into it. And it let Amina get a 1v1 victory in a forced by victory. So yeah, you know, G2 have really not been able to crack the code, and although they have bled out Nico just a little bit, this round has to be one of those other miracles.
This now makes 12 straight for FaZe. See if G2 can put on the stops or whether this will continue to be the case. Potentially 13. Rain, close angle, does have pistols on the other side. Oh, they go to clear him. They find Nico actually on the site. Rain survives and drops, but that's the site conceded. A weapon that can be recovered as well. Of course, it's just the scout, but it's in Kenny S's hands.
Oh, yeah. No nades either from the CT side. Rain is looking to find a head, and that's exactly what he does. Great flashbang from Brokey. It's fantastic for retakes, but Rain's actually getting aggressive. He's so good on this angle today. He's just got 3 and 4, tapping away. Is this another ace for the tournament? Rain will not get it, but Brokey, I don't mind that shot either. That is a 14th round on the board for FaZe Clan, and although G2 Esports get the bomb pod down, money is the least of their concerns.
Oh man, we've had so many aces in DreamHack Open Full, and I thought we were about to see another one. Sure, pistols, yada yada yada, but it's just so crisp from Rain.
Oh yeah. Look, an ace is
a good old slap on the head. Come on, man, give me that one.
Faze. Where did Brokey get naded? Oh, B sign. He's been naded. Fair enough. Nico on the AWP, of course. If you guys are newer to this Faze team, they do not like to play Brokey as their op on Dust2. Nico prefers to be the one handling that, and Nico's scoped right in. Nexa knows where he is. Nexa knows it's going to be one or the other saying chicken, but Nexa's not one to clock. He backs off instead. Flashbang goes outwards. And with the smoke already present, he just wants to try and find something. Picks up the bomb and will back off. Kirby's got all the information in the world, but that information is false. Kirby, you're being led on a bit of a goose chase. Are you going to pick up your bow and arrow and go hunting? Smoke goes out towards the B doors as well, just to try and force out some rotations, but the same will also be true very soon off that A bomb side. Nade is strong and Jax is weakened by it. Still no movement from Kirby. Nex is still waiting, and now that the players jumped down, Nico's caught him off, and look at Kirby. We've got to keep an eye out on him. He's found the angle, but Nex is still expecting it. 35 seconds, and he's taking him down. 4 versus 4 still there, but Nico is as well. Beautiful shots coming in time after time, even going for the jump. He is feeling himself, and Rain will be able to get yet another. Sure, he's shut down, but next on 19, this is not a round you're likely to win.
On the cross, there is Nico. Maybe you start to understand, if you're watching from home, why Nico has the AWP as opposed to Berkey. Of course, he can perform flashy stuff himself, but I mean, look how quick that is from Nico.
Yeah.
Just catches a glimpse as he goes through the smoke. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. He's had a stellar map. Rain not too far off him. 23 and 21 kills a pop. And Kirby feeling a little bit of pressure over towards long. That was really the best chance G2 had that last round, but they muster up a buy with AKs to try and keep them alive a little longer here on Dust. I have my doubts. It has been 14 rounds in a row here for Faze from the first half into the second. They just have all this momentum and a whole lot of information as well, as Cold has cleared and pushed through middle.
Right. Okay. I'm not quite sure about that one, but Jax will take him down soon after. Kirby to peek out is good for one, but Jax is already up the ramp, so he doesn't have anyone guarding his flank, leaving Brokey to do a little bit more heavy lifting, something he's not quite up for, as Nico will fall. Armanek completely blind is able to find him through the smoke as well, so 4 versus 2, and for the first time in forever, it seems like G2 Esports should be able to come out on top of a round and give themselves a pretty decent advantage as well. CD economy isn't in a great place, so if you can say these two weapons, maybe you still rustle together a buy, but that is very unlikely even then. Last bonus just sitting on 1400. Yeah, you don't have a buy here, do you? Even if you save these two weapons. I guess these two players can drop.
They'll definitely buy.
I mean, they will buy, but do they have one?
Whether you should buy, that's a whole different question. They have a 10-round lead. They are filled with confidence. Am I being stupid? Are they not going to buy? Surely. Nico, he'd have to double save. Go for it. Why not? No, they don't make the call.
He doesn't have to double save. I mean, they can just save on Coldzera again. Coldzera can drop as long as he can save the M4.
Yeah, that's so contingent on holding on to the rifles. Don't you want to win the round?
Listen, Michael. I know you want to see some of those deagles from Nico, okay? I know what you're really rooting for.
I mean, yeah. He's been really crisp this entire map. Do you blame me?
Well, the fingers have to be pointed down to be pointed somewhere in the G2 camp, and I have to say, Hunter's not been having a great game. 10 to 18, not the scoreline you want to see from him. And Molotov forces out Rain as well. What is that? What is that? Molotov? Did they like not put enough petrol in there or something? Because it just covered a small little angle. Brokey's good for one, but he's traded immediately. And Cold will now wait for them to come into him. Cold will find Hunter, who again, his poor streak of form will continue. And this will be a 3 versus 2 for Faceland to try and move back and save that M4 on.
Of course, they recover the AK as well. Even Kirby finding the kit. So some nice little bonuses if they're able to hold on to them. The G2, they don't really have the funds to track these players down. Catching players on the cross, though, that's very low risk, high reward. Garby, ducking behind the car, seeing if he can evade capture, like something out of a zombie film.
Well, does he also come back to life? I think that's how zombie films work, right? Oh, it's there! He lives!
Wait a second, that's... is everybody in Counter-Strike just zombies? Is that... They all come back to life inexplicably and
well, listen, it did originate from Half-Life. So
that is true. I don't see any head crabs, but
that is true. Not yet. That's for Source 2. But Brokey is not going to wait for Source 2, and now there is Rain. Unfortunately, Rain's had some sense knocked into him as Hunter will pop his lights out, and he will be traded soon after. Cold Zero on the Farmers, the only player in the world who can make it look better than an M4.
Well, flashes over a beat. Brokey still hiding away, tucking as Cole takes first contact, and that opens the opportunity there for Brokey. It's not the cleanest, but they get the job done. G2 on its last leg. It's just Kenny. AWP in hand, can use it as a crutch if he likes. But 3 players still stand in his way, and that back plat position so difficult. Brokey, that insta headshot, but Kenny S returns. And his cross has been covered. Nico dispatches of him. We've had a whole lot of 16-6s today. This is the second series of the B stream. We had 16-6s back-to-back in the first series, and it transfers over. Faze, what a dominant Dust2. It didn't seem like there was any doubt once they got that ball rolling. They had, what, 14 rounds in a row? I don't know what the G2 CT side had to offer. It seemed like the T side had a little bit more meat to it, but that was a really good map pick for Faze.
I mean, Faze was so good in that game that not only did they win all of their rounds, it seemed like they even won a couple of G2's rounds for them when Brokey came out and killed Nico, giving a little bit of chaos. That's how good Faze was. And with that note, we're going to go to a short break, and when we're back, it'll be map number 2. We'll have to wait to see whether G2 can actually make it work, or Faze going to let it slip through to a clean 2-0. Well, you'll have to stay tuned to find out.